this is why you guys should watch Ultraman. Okay, so if you haven't heard about what Ultraman is, so what happened is they made a new Ultraman series on Netflix. You can watch the entire thing right now, the entire first season. And what it's about is it's technically a sequel to the original Ultraman series up until this point. So if you aren't familiar with the original Ultraman series, don't worry, it's not that big a deal. You don't need to know all of it, but I am going to give you guys a summary so you guys know what's going on. So originally, during the first series, there was a man named Shin Hayata who was the first Ultraman who fused with a Guardian of Light to become the first original Ultraman and became the giant, hulking, Ultraman-esque person. Eventually, they entered an era of peace, and Ultraman saw that it was no longer necessary for the two beings to be fused, so the Giant of Light left and left Shin Hayata without any of his memories or powers. Well, sort of. He didn't leave him with his original powers as Ultraman per se, but he did leave him with an imprinted version of powers. And Shin wouldn't find out until several years later when an airplane was destroyed by an unknown source believed to be Bemular, but we find out later that's not the case, and that's part of the main plot of the show, so I'm not going to spoil it here. But it's as soon as he sees Bemular that he realizes who he used to be and realizes what he is and how he came to be, and that his son Shinjiro also has the powers and decides to become Ultraman for his sake to protect him, joining up with the still active SSSP from the original series. So this goes on for about 10 years, and by that point, Shinjiro has learned that he does indeed have powers and is trying to learn how to control them to no real avail. And it isn't until he and his dad are being manhunted by Bemular and he finds out that his dad is actually the new Ultraman that he realizes just what kind of responsibility he has and joins up with the SSSP to save his dad, who is near fatally wounded, but not terribly. He survives somehow, because even though Bemular puts his hand through Shin's chest, but that's not the point. The point is that the series from that point is told through Shinjiro's perspective. And what I like about this series is that, unlike the original Ultraman series, which is kind of like wacky and ridiculous, and don't worry, this series is still as wacky and ridiculous, but they have indeed adopted a new suit style. Instead of being giants, they're now glorified Iron Man. They're like basically Japanese Iron Man, as my dad put it. But what makes the series so interesting is not so much that it is about like fighting crime and stuff, because don't get me wrong, it is about fighting aliens and things like that, but the series decides to take a bit of a more mature route with it, in that I guess the best way to explain it would be that the series isn't so much, hey, look at this guy going through and fighting aliens without any real consequence. No, there is consequence, and it's about what it means to be a hero. It's not so much about, oh, you can just run in and fight whatever you want. No, it's more about it's more about how Shinjiro realizes that there are indeed consequences, and that by hesitating, he fails to save a human life. So he needs to learn how to better control his powers in order to protect everybody he can. And by the end of the series, he does figure out how to do that and does indeed become the hero he's meant to be, to which Bemular approves. But yeah, the thing about this is that he also teams up with another Ultraman named Dan Moriboshi, and later another student at his high school called, what was it, Seiji Monoma or something like that. But anyway, these two characters are supposed to showcase different parts of the Ultraman character that aren't meant to be like taken seriously, but they're also supposed to be homages to the original series. Like, for example, Dan Moriboshi dresses up as Ultraman 7, or just 7 in the series, and Seiji later becomes Ultraman Ace or just Ace. So yeah, it's very interesting to just see the callback to that, but they also kind of develop a certain different reasons for why they want to become a hero. So obviously Shinjiro wants to become a hero so that he can protect everybody and become the best hero he can be, and he needs to figure that out because he needs to live up to his pretty big shoes of his dad. So yeah, and Dan is interesting in that he believes that Ultraman should be judge, jury, and executioner, and he's also jealous of the fact that Shinjiro kind of was just handed the powers in the suit and has struggles with the responsibility part of that. And Dan understands the responsibility part of that, but he's a bit too ruthless with the bad guys. I mean, obviously there are some people who don't completely deserve to die, but in Dan's mind it has to be judge, jury, executioner. You should be able to kill anybody who gives you trouble, no problem. And that kind of develops a pretty messed up Batman and Robin dynamic, except in this case Batman is okay with killing people and Robin is the one questioning why he's killing people. So yeah, and Seiji just wants to create a world where aliens no longer have to live in fear, and for the most part he's right about that, but the way he does it isn't exactly morally upstanding. For example, he'll do whatever it takes to fund the project to build his suit and do whatever. And he doesn't really care who he hurts in the process as long as one of his friends is happy. And that is the main motivation. He became a hero just so that he can see his friend smile again. Because she lived alone in the alien village, which are established to be like little micro villages within the cities that only aliens can live, because that's the only place they can live with the way the immigration laws and stuff like that are set up. And there's also the Star Cluster Council, who may not be as morally upstanding as it's first appeared. I don't know. It's only been the first season. We still don't know everything. But what happened was that the Star Cluster Council, after Ultraman first appeared and left, the Star Cluster Council was basically like this governing body of aliens that decided to get together and all be happy and friendship and all that good stuff, and got together with the Earth government and tried to establish their rule on Earth and tried to help out with the immigration problems, which backfired horribly. But that's mainly what's going on here. And there is an overarching plot about how the Star Cluster Council may have been involved in the destruction of the plane, and Bemular is innocent, which he is. But that's mainly it. But I'm not going to spoil it too much because the reasons behind it aren't exactly clear. So I'm just going to leave it here. And the Star Cluster Council does have sort of an ambiguous idea of how to run things. But yeah, if you guys like the original Ultraman series, you'll like this one. If you like Iron Man, you'll like this one. If you didn't like either, you'll still like it anyway, because it's just different enough that you'll enjoy it. Once you get past the art style and the animation style, you'll like it. I think you guys will enjoy it. But yeah, go watch Ultraman. You can find it, the entire first season, on Netflix. Second season will come eventually. But if you guys did enjoy like superhero stuff and more grounded reality and stuff like that, and that kind of thing, and like more grounded consequences, then I would definitely recommend checking out Ultraman and maybe sticking around for the second season, because the second season is coming. We just don't know when. But if you guys have enjoyed this little recommendation video about Ultraman, then what did you guys think? And are you guys going to go see the series now that I've tried to explain it? Probably not, because I suck at explaining things. But if you did, for some miraculous reason, then be sure to let me know in the comments below. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month for no real reward, and it helps me out, so definitely do that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace! Oh, alright, hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, 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 hey, buddy.